You suffer from heartburn. Ouch! The burning sensation that grips your chest is overwhelming. It doesn't just happen after a particularly spicy meal. Every meal ignites suffering. Putting the fire out is a priority. But you might be swapping heartburn for a burning heart. Join us for this episode of Better Body Chemistry TV as we explore how heartburn medications are burning hearts. Better Body Chemistry TV is brought to you by Dr. Sandy, a scientist turned gremlin buster, helping you battle sugar gremlins, heifer lumps, and other health horribles through better body chemistry. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health. Fortunately, there are several quick fix options to put the fire out. One of the most commonly used options are the PPIs, the proton pump inhibitors. They relieve the burn by stopping acid production completely. The proton pump inhibitors are masters at disrupting the acid sprinkling system in the stomach. No burn. But no acid also means poor digestion, which makes you vulnerable to nutrient deficiencies, which over time can lead to new problems such as weak bones and limited protection from nasty bacteria. These risks are predictable. Acid is required for the stomach to function properly, so blocking acid production, especially on a long-term basis, does have consequences. But PPIs are doing a little bit more than just jamming up the proton pumps in the stomach. Researchers have recently documented that PPIs have the ability to jam up dimethylarginine dimethylamino hydrolase, or DDAH for short. Now, DDAH is part of the body's cleanup crew. It's tasked with removing asymmetric dimethylarginine ADMA groups from things. One of the things it removes this group from is the enzyme that makes nitric oxide. Since nitric oxide helps keep the blood vessels open, this impacts heart function, not just on paper, in patients. This is what the team of researchers from Standford University discovered when they dug deep into the medical records of people who were being treated for acid reflux problems, or GERD. The team asked computer bots to analyze the medical records inside the STRIDE system, which is the database that has recorded all the medical happenings within Standford's medical center for the last 17 years. The computer was able to read all the paperwork, documenting the medical records of 1.8 million patients, experiencing 19 million encounters with medical staff. Aren't computers clever? Sort of. What the bot could do was pick up the patients that had received a diagnosis of GERD. It found a total of 93,149 cases in total. The computer then selected sufferers over the age of 18 years to use in further analysis. Next, it determined which medication had been prescribed to treat the GERD, specifically whether the patient was prescribed a PPI or an antihistamine. Whether the patient actually took the meds, how often, how much, and for how long was something the computer couldn't determine, which limits the value of the data a little. Of the 70,477 grown-ups with GERD, 45.9% were prescribed a PPI. These drugs are easy to spot because they always end in prazole. An example would be omeprazole. Brand names include Nexium, Prilosec, and Prev. 18.2% were prescribed an antihistamine. These drugs can be spotted by looking for drugs ending in tidine. Example would be cimetidine. Brand names include Zantac and Tagamet. It then tracked these two groups of people over time, watching for a diagnosis of a heart attack to appear in their medical record. It found 22,411 heart attacks happened. Ouch. The striking thing, the incidence of heart attack between the two groups of patients was different. Patients prescribed a PPI had more heart attacks than expected, suggesting PPIs were increasing heart attack risk. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe these folks were, heart attacks waiting to happen. On top of their heartburn meds, they were taking drugs to treat high cholesterol or high blood pressure. Well, some of them were, but that's normal today. Nothing in the data suggested these people were high risk to begin with. They seemed to be regular Joes. So just like you, odds are many of them were doing what they could to mitigate their risk of heart disease through diet and exercise. Of course, the irony of this study, the heartburn meds are burning hearts. The folks taking a PPI were inadvertently ramping up their risk of suffering a heart attack through using the heartburn medication. Now, all drugs come with benefits and risks, which means when you take a medicine, you need to weigh up the pros and cons. In my books, PPIs address the heartburn problem in the moment. They don't solve it. This fix comes at a price, an increased risk of having a heart attack. Now, a heart attack is a rather large price to pay for a little relief from your acid indigestion. Too big a price? I think so. Time for plan B. Deal with the cause of your indigestion. If you need some help digging up why you're battling with acid reflux, sign up for a body chemistry audit. Alternatively, go to plan C. When you opt to take heartburn meds, make sure it's for a short period of time, not on an ongoing basis. Consider using an antihistamine type drug instead of a PPI. And if you're taking a PPI, keep tabs on your blood pressure so you enjoy better body chemistry. Interested in discovering more ways to create better body chemistry so you optimize your health and the health of your family? Visit our website at www.betterbodychemistry.com. Browse our library or enroll in one of our courses or programs. The advice is simple to follow and based on real science, not hype. Know someone who suffers from indigestion? Are they taking a PPI? Share this video with them so they understand the downside to the medication they're taking. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you catch future episodes of Better Body Chemistry TV. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health.